Blessings, John preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ in this day, in this world, to you, to the nations, in this generation, because you and I are here alive this day, standing on the earth, God's world. And what happened? What happened? Right? All of a sudden, you're awake, you're aware, and there's no discharge in this war. How did I get here? What are we doing? I'm alive, and now we gotta start figuring things out, right? Especially if your parents are not Christian, they're not faithful and obedient, then you're gonna have some questions, right? Because they're gonna tell you, go to school, right? Do your activities, sports and homework, and you know, a lot of children ask after a certain point. You know, first you're just having fun, you know, you play with the kids and your peers, and you go down the slide. That's so fun. You play in the sandbox. But as the work gets harder, right, as you got a math problem in front of you, you want to ask, why are we doing this? Right? As you start to have to do the homework and sit down, don't play until you finish your homework, and you're in class, and you have to go back, and it's hard material. As things gets harder, you start to ask more, why are we doing it? Why are we doing this? Do we have to? Why do we have to do this? And that expands into from school to life. As you struggle to find a job, get a job, keep a job, do the job. Oh, it's hard. All right. You got relationship problems, family problems, traffic problems, car problems. Why? Right? Now you start asking when things get hard. And we start trying to figure it out. And it could be a long journey. It could be a lot of frustration, especially before you're saved, you know, hitting this wall, that wall. Because you're in a dark room, you don't have Jesus, you don't have light. So you're going to hit the left side of the room, the right side, the north and south wall, east and west wall, and you're hitting walls until you have Jesus. You don't have understanding. Until you have Jesus, you're not going to find the door, right? Oh, this seems the same. This seems the same. Disappointment, disappointment, disappointment. No path, no road, no way. Yeah, people say that, right? A glass ceiling, a rock in a hard place, a life, right? Murphy's Law. The things that we come up with, the unbelievers express this, right? Well, we feel like we're trapped in prison, no hope. Yeah, the pills that we take, that's so ubiquitous, right? Whether it's for anxiety, for happiness, for depression, for lack of activity, too much activity, right? It's an admission of defeat. We need this. We'll just resort to this. We didn't actually find what it is in life. We don't actually have it naturally generating in us. We're just going to take this. Right? What do I need? Pick your mood from the shelf. I need to feel this right now. I need this right now. I need productivity. Okay, now I need to rest. I need to relax. And there's a certain kind of there's a sadness to that, right? Why did it come down to this? And this. My life is based on this, and I'm struggling to pay for these, right? It's so expensive. This bottle, that bottle, that bottle. And so I was listening to Saul recently here, and yeah, I was struck by the decline of Saul. Saul becomes king. He's the first king of the Israelites. And we see his descent. He starts to slip. He starts to go down. And we can see why. It's rooted in disobedience, not doing what God expects him to do. So that's a big revelation that, wait, there's expectations on each individual from God. Once we figure that out, then we can ask God, oh, what do you expect? You have expectations? I'm supposed to be doing something? Then that explains a lot, right? Oh, he's the boss, he's the father, and I'm not doing what he wants to do, what he wants me to do, and he's in control, and he has rewards and consequences for whether I do or don't do his will. Oh, that explains so much. Why I'm experiencing, the car sliding backwards and getting rear-ended, but it's my fault because my car went backwards. And yeah, 100% my fault. Yeah, you're the only one. Well, everyone else who's rear-ended, they get paid money. Oh, it wasn't your fault. But for you, yeah, you can get rear-ended, and it's your fault. You did it. Oh, this surprisingly bad, miraculously bad consequences, just staggeringly, against the statistics. Oh, how did that happen again? Right? Oh, you got into a car accident, and they said, hey, just take it to the shop. And on your way to the shop, you get into another accident. Oh, it's a story to tell. They're going to talk about it at your workplace, right? And all the calamities that we face. We don't know. We don't know. We can address it. You can throw money at it. Yeah, get a new bumper. Right? Get a new house. Get a new dog. Get a new wall. Get a new toenail. Get a new, right? Whatever it is, you can throw money at it, but you didn't get to the root. So it's going to happen again. And yeah, you're going to form a worldview. Oh, this is life, full of disappointment, and you're going to have a heart that's bitter, right? Because you see the world that way, and you're hardening yourself. Right? You're lowering your expectations and standards, and just popping all the balloons of dreams and ambitions and hopes and happiness and bright expectations of the future. Yeah, just bring it all down. Yeah, I remember a specific day when I was very sad, very discouraged. When I don't know, something happened. I got disciplined by my mother, parents. I got beat, or yeah, and it made me very, very sad, very upset. And I went into my room, and there's something I made, some project. At school they give you an art project, and then you, as a child, you come up with the idea, oh, I'm going to gift this, or maybe the teacher suggests it. You should give it to your parents, right? They'd love it, trying to extend and expand the positivity and the what you can get out of having made this. I think it was around Thanksgiving. Maybe it was a stuffed turkey, made with paper bags, and it's got these feathers and colors, and I gave it to my mom maybe, and I said, oh, look, this is for you, I made it. And she's happy, like, oh, good job, wow, it's so pretty. But then when I got punished and I was sad, discouraged, and I felt really low, I went and ripped it up. I said, right? Why you want to destroy things, right? When you're in that mood, right? When you're so discouraged, when you've lost hope, when the relationship's breaking, your world outlook is breaking. You know what? Right? You had a good outlook in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, it turns dark, right? Oh, you hit a wall, right? You experience failure beyond what's reasonable. Yeah, it wasn't just, a little setback. It was something that made you feel so low, right? So bitter, so angry, that you're gonna act. Your emotions are burning up. It demands more, right? Hell enlarges itself, and the daughters of the horse leech say, more, give, right? That's wickedness, that's sin, that sins and it's not satisfied, right? The anger, the bitterness, unforgiveness. So that's why you forgive, because if you don't, that does not end. It manifests in diseases and pains and aches and sores. And if you don't forgive, that person could come to you and say, I'm sorry for what I've done. And because you did not forgive, you're going to continue to suffer. They're going to be free, right? I'm sorry. Right? I did wrong. And they'll have acknowledged their faults. And they're going to keep living their life. But if you didn't forgive, right, then when they say sorry, it won't be enough. Right? You're going to be hardened. You're not going to be easily entreated. You look down on them, side-eye them, evil-eye them. Right? You still feel bad. It's not enough. That's hell. You're connected to hell. The doctrines of devils, the mindset of devils, the devilish wisdom, right? That's going to speak to you and say, yeah, that's not enough. Apology's not enough. Apology won't do it. Right? How many times have we heard, right? People so upset. They say, oh, you're sorry won't do it. Right? I need more than an apology. I've heard that already. Right? The bitterness. Right? So the deep discouragement and dissatisfaction. And so that's what we're delivered from, washed from. Because you see how it's impossible to be joyful, impossible to see clearly. Right? You're stuck in that. Right? You're determined to be upset, to be sad, to be sorrowful. You're in prison, the prison door's open, and then you grab the prison door and you shut it back on yourself. Right? You say, no, I decide to be in here. I will not leave. Now, funny enough, there's disciples of Jesus Christ that were in physical prison, right? And they when they were told to leave, they said, "Oh, you put us in prison in private, and you're going to release us? No, you publicly put us in prison. You're trying to privately let us go." Right? They could boldly say, "No, come and free us yourselves." Right? Yeah, they're not afraid of being jailed or pain, or that's hope right there. They're not doing that out of bitterness. They say, "Oh no, we will have freedom. Freedom's ours. We were free in jail." We're not trying to sneak out. We're not hoping or wondering if we're gonna be free. No, they're free eternally. They are free. They have prison doors around them, and they're free in their mind, free in their heart, and they're free in their understanding of their future. No, we know we have a good expectation of our future. We're in Jesus, so the end is going to be Jesus. Jesus is good. Jesus is victorious. This is our future. This is our present. So they talk like that. They walk like that. People around them, they want to repent. They want to retract. "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no, please leave. Oh, here's your riches back. Here's your wife back. Oh, the wells are yours. It's all yours. Please don't hurt us." Right? Promise. Yeah, that's what Saul said too to David. When David showed that he cut off Saul's skirt. But David's not going to kill Saul. Even though Saul's powerful, he's a king, he's got men hunting David. David, when he has the chance to kill Saul, he says, "No, I can't." Even when he cuts off the skirt, the robe, he says, "Oh, I shouldn't have. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do these things." And he told Saul, "I could have killed you, but look, I don't. Why are you chasing me? Who told you that I'm going to hurt you, that I'm after you? You're trapped in your own mind, Saul. You're lost. You're confused. You're being distracted." And Saul, he couldn't break out of it. He said, "I know I'm unstable. I don't understand things. I'm up one day, down one day, up and down." He has a javelin in his hand when David plays music for him, and then he's relieved usually, and today he's going to throw it at David. Right? He's very unstable, and he asks David for mercy. Please, I know you're the one, right? Because you trust in God, you follow God, you obey God, you have stability, you have obedience, you have success. You're going to be the one that rises to the top. You're going to win out. I already know. I can't control myself. I'm so unstable. I'm a slave. I can't control myself. I can't even tell myself what to do. I'm a slave to my emotions and my unstable thoughts and emotions. My mood, right? It shifts. I'm just tossed around in the sea, in the waves of the sea. I can't swim. This thing's more powerful than me. And you have power over the waves. You can walk over the water as Peter did, as Jesus tells us to come, as we follow his voice, as we submit to his voice, as we take up that identity as being a servant of God, a son of God. Then he gives you power over that so you can walk over it. So you don't have to be trying to swim against the tide, being pulled by the undertow. No, you're not a victim. You're not subject to the elements. You're in league with the stones, in league with the waves. The waves support you. The waves say, walk on me. Go ahead, keep going. Right? And the waves, they can be wavy and stormy and windy, and it'll cancel itself. Right? It's coming on Peter, and it says, "Oh, no, never mind, Peter, just kidding. This is our assignment. Jesus told us to rise up and come to you and then not really touch you." And Peter, when he takes his mind off of Jesus and respects that, respects the appearance, the threatening, the appearance of jeopardy, and he lets it get to his heart. Right? Then the waves say, oh, what'd you do? Who are you? I thought you were a son. I thought you were confident. I thought you were believing. I thought you were full of faith. Right? Oh, you're not. Come on in. Come on. We'll hug you. We'll embrace you. Right? In a way that kills him. Right? But Jesus saves him. Jesus pulls him up. He says, you did good, Peter. You did all right. You failed, but it's all right. You're in development. We're going to increase that faith. You got faith. You need more. You always need more. So he gives us faith and he calls us to higher. And so Saul, he says, please, don't kill all my descendants. Let there be remaining my name. Let it continue. And David can grant that. He's not bitter. He doesn't say, no, you try to kill me. No, I'm done with you. He says, yeah, I could kill you. I didn't. You want me to preserve your name? Yeah, I can agree to that. Yeah, I'm not afraid. Not afraid. He's in control. The disciples are in control. We're in prison. We're not afraid. Right? Come and release us. We don't feel like we're in prison. We can be in prison. We could be behind bars. But we know the material doesn't define us. God defines us. God says we're free. Right? God moves the prison doors. God moves the hearts of people. So, yeah, they're focused on God. They know that it's what God says it is. It's as God defines. God says we're his servants and sons. We're victorious, more than conquerors. We believe it. That's his word. That's what he said. So they're in prison. They can sing. Right? Why aren't you downcast? Why aren't you disappointed, discouraged, powerless, feel like giving up? No, because God didn't give up. God's still on the throne. That never changes. God never changes. He's good yesterday, today, tomorrow. He's powerful. His arm is not shortened that it cannot save. That never changes. And we're in him. And he speaks to us. And he describes us. Right? My tongue's the pen of a ready writer. He's writing our story. And we're just agreeing with him. We're tracing over his words. Yeah, this is what God said. This is the present. This is the past, present, and future. It's already written. We're just walking out our life. And tracing over his words, what he said. And what's next, God? Okay. And what's next? Okay, that's what we do. That's what we say. God did it. We do it. God said it. We say it. And so prison, right? Oh, that's a small thing, right? Money, oh, that's a small thing, right? What is that between you and me? Right? And Abraham can pay. David can pay. Oh, no, we'll give. We'll give. It's from God anyway. Right? He's going to replenish. He's going to give more. That's why having a Christian lifestyle is so important, right? Because you're going to be, there's going to be a question put to you, a question of faith. Do you believe? Do this. And if you were living the lifestyle, then you'll do it because you know your God. But if you haven't been preparing, you won't be a prepared person, right? For that question. When the prophet says, punch me, you say, no, the law says, oh, but you didn't understand. By faith, you need to know, oh, this is an exception right now. Right now, you must do this. And so one guy fails and he's cursed and the other guy can do it. Okay. Right? Obeys. Oh, good. You obeyed. I'm a prophet of the Lord. Right? You just obeyed God right now. Right? How are we supposed to know? You need to have been living, be living daily, right? Consistent, constant, diligent, constant lifestyle of Christianity, constant focus on God. Every day live in reference to God. And so that's dangerous. That's why it's dangerous living that low level of Christianity, taking on what the culture says about Christianity, right? Putting that on and thinking that's okay. Right? Just the Sunday Christian, right? The weekend warrior. And what about the rest of the days? Right? We have Cain as an example, whose sacrifice was not accepted. You need to know if God is pleased or not. And so we have the example of Cain. That is a good image of the world, right? Exactly how the world feels. And the image of arms crossed, huffing and puffing, disappointed, angry, when God told him the answer, do well, Cain. You're okay. Just change your way. You can do it. You can change your way. I'm giving you instruction, and you can follow the instruction, and you can do it. So what's the problem? Is it God? It's not God. God says it's you. You can change, and you're not changing. But Cain doesn't accept the responsibility. He could, he has folded arms. He could lay that down, gird up his loins, and say, okay, let's get to it. Let's get to this change. Let's get to denying myself. I don't want to, but okay. Right? I don't want to be a Christian on Monday and Tuesday too. I don't want to go to church on Wednesday too. Right? That's too much, but okay. He can repent. He can disagree with himself and agree with God. And then he'd be fine. His sacrifice would be accepted because he's doing well on the rest of the days, on the days and times when he's not sacrificing. He's still striving to please God and live according to the voice of God, the law of God. Then come when he approaches God, God's going to lift up his scepter and say, oh, come on in, you're accepted. I recognize you, I know you. That was available for Cain, but instead, because of the choice Cain made in his heart, he folded arms, and he didn't accept what God said. Instead, he put it back to God. He charged God. No, you need to change, God. You're unrighteous, God. I'm right. So he's not God. God is God. But he took that position. That's Satan's position, Satan's mindset. He responded with sarcasm. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? Oh, you're going to talk to the king like that? You're not going to hear the king? You're not going to receive his instruction? Though you're full, well, able, and capable. So he willingly disobeyed. He could have obeyed. He could see success. He could have access to God. He's jealous of Abel. Why do you take his sacrifice? Why do you like him? And God told him, this is the way. If you want that, take this path. And instead he says, I'm not budging. I'm not moving. I'm simply not willing. I'm not going to. Right? So willful ignorance, willful disobedience, self-willed. So that was a conscious decision, willing decision that he made himself, and that's what the world does. That's what Jesus offers to the whole world that has become Cain. Jesus offers his name. Jesus offers the knowledge of God. Jesus has churches all over and says, look, it's right here, right on the street corner, and you won't go. You won't go. I'm sending out my evangelists, my preachers. They're telling you, do you know Jesus? Do you want to know more? It's on the radio, right? There's Christian television. It's on the radio waves, on the television, right? And you're rejecting it, just like Cain. No, I don't have to go to you. You have to come to me. You have to make this right. Right? Why is the world evil? Why is there suffering if there's God? And you won't come to find out. You won't humble yourself and lean, incline your ear to learn. Right? He'll tell you. He'll explain these things to you. But instead you say, no, you come into my classroom. You come into the books I read. Right? He's not there. He's not going there. You have to come to him. You have to lower yourself. Right? Then you'll get understanding. But, okay. Resuming with Saul, look, he's a king. God made him king. But he's going to lose that. He's going to lose understanding. He's going to increase in confusion. And so Saul, king ordained by God, and yet watch, we're going to see how he slips down, he backslides. Saul reigned 1 year in 1 Samuel 13. Reigned 1 year. When he had reigned 2 years over Israel, Saul chose him 3,000 men of Israel, whereof 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and in Mount Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan in Gibeah of Benjamin, and the rest of the people he sent every man to his tent. And Jonathan smote the garrison of the Philistines that was in Gibeah, and the Philistines heard of it, and Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, Let the Hebrews hear. And all Israel heard say that Saul had smitten a garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel also had an abomination with the Philistines. And the people were called together after Saul to Gilgal. So Saul's son Jonathan, he has a victory, and that's provoking the Philistines. And now they're going to have a war. And the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up and pitched in Michmash eastward from Bethaven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, right? Too many people. They look like sand on the seashore. Right? This is a lot of people, the enemy. And so they see that now. For the people were distressed. Then the people did hide themselves in caves and in thickets and in rocks and in high places and in pits. So they're scattering. Saul's army is scattering. And some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Saul, he was yet in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. And he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. And Saul said, Bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering. And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came. And Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him. So Saul was told to wait, and he said, I'm done waiting. I've waited as long as he told me I should. And he took matters into his own hands. He was supposed to wait, but he said, cancel that. No, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So here's the consequence. Right? Samuel shows up. And Samuel said, What hast thou done? And Saul said, Because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that you came not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Therefore, said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering. So you don't do that, right? You don't do that. He's basically saying, I forced myself to do what I needed to do based on the situation that I saw. Right? He's walking by sight. He has an imagination. So this is going to happen if I don't do this. Right? And so that's why we have to live in the Spirit, walk by the Spirit. You walk by sight. You think things that's not going to happen. Right? He says, the Philistines will come down now. But is that what God said? No, God said, do this. This is the instruction. Obey. And Saul's thinking something else. No, they're going to come and invade. It's not going to work out as God said. He's having doubts. So he forced himself. Right? He's saying, I forced myself. Right? I had to. As if he did the right thing. He doesn't understand that, no, the right interpretation is you disobeyed. You got instructions and you didn't apply. You didn't execute the instruction. Right? So he thinks he forced himself to do the right thing. It was hard, but I did it. It was based on what I saw. This is what must be done. That's the conclusion that he had. That's why he did it. Because he thought it was right. And so that's why we need the mind of God. We need to walk out Christian life every day. We need a life full of faith. We need to be trained up in the ways. The words need to go deep into us so that when these situations come up, what comes out of our heart? Doubt? Fear? Yes, if that's in there. But the Word of God washes us. It cleanses us so that what comes out, the Word of God is going to be deeply planted and sown in us. So that will come out. Faith, hope, right? Love, courage. That needs to come out. That's why we sow deeper into our hearts so that in these kinds of situations, doubt and disobedience doesn't come out. But it did for Saul. And look at the fallout. And Samuel said to Saul, Thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded you. For now would the Lord have established your kingdom upon Israel forever. But now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart. And the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded you. And Samuel arose and gat him up from Gilgal unto Gibeah of Benjamin. And Saul numbered the people that were present with him, about 600 men. And Saul and Jonathan his son and the people that were present with them abode in Gibeah of Benjamin, but the Philistines encamped in Michmash. And the spoilers came out of the camp of the Philistines in 3 companies. One company turned unto the way that leadeth to Ophrah unto the land of Shual, and another company turned the way to Beth-horon, and another company turned to the way of the border that looketh to the valley of Zeboim, toward the wilderness. Now there was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel, for the Philistines said, lest the Hebrews make them swords or spears. But all the Israelites went down to the Philistines to sharpen every man his share, and his coulter, and his axe, and his mattock. Yet they had a file for the mattocks, and for the coulters, and for the forks, and for the axes, and to sharpen the goads. So it came to pass in the day of battle that there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people that were with Saul and Jonathan, but with Saul and with Jonathan his son was there found. So no one had swords. That was their situation. Only Saul and Jonathan had swords. Everyone else, they had farming tools that they sharpened. And the garrison of the Philistines went out to the passage of Michmash. Now it came to pass, chapter 14, upon a day that Jonathan the son of Saul said unto the young man that bare his armor, Come, and let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he told not his father. And Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree, which is in Migron, and the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, the Lord's priest in Shiloh, wearing an ephod, and the people knew not that Jonathan was gone. And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on the one side, and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of the one was Bozez, and the name of the other Seneh. The forefront of the one was situate northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over against Gibeah. And Jonathan said to the young man that bare his armor, Come, and let us go over unto the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us, for there is no restraint to the Lord to save by many or by few. And his armor-bearer said unto him, Do all that is in your heart. Turn you, behold, I am with you according to your heart. So Jonathan is willing. He's bold. He's full of faith. He's going to go. He's willing. And his armor-bearer, he's influenced. It rubs off on him. Right? Faith begets faith. You're going to attract people like you. And so they're both willing. They're ready. And then said Jonathan, Behold, we will pass over unto these men, and we will discover ourselves unto them. If they say thus to us, Tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and will not go up to them. But if they say thus, Come up unto us, then we will go up, for the Lord has delivered them into our hand, and this shall be a sign unto us. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. And the Philistines said, Behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they had hid themselves. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor-bearer, and said, Come up to us, and we'll show you a thing. And Jonathan said unto his armor-bearer, Come up after me, for the Lord hath delivered them into the hand of Israel. And Jonathan climbed up upon his hands and upon his feet, and his armor-bearer after him. And they fell before Jonathan, and his armor-bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor-bearer made was about 20 men, within as it were an half acre of land which a yoke of oxen might plow. And there was trembling in the host, in the field, and among all the people. The garrison and the spoilers, they also trembled, and the earth quaked, so it was a very great trembling. And the watchmen of Saul and Gibeah of Benjamin looked, and behold, the multitude melted away. And they went on beating down one another. Then said Saul unto the people that were with him, Number now, and see who is gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor-bearer were not there. And Saul said unto Ahiah, Bring hither the ark of God, for the ark of God was at that time with the children of Israel. And it came to pass, while Saul talked unto the priest, that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on and increased. And Saul said unto the priest, Withdraw your hand. And Saul and all the people that were with him assembled themselves, and they came to the battle, and behold, every man's sword was against his fellow, and there was a very great discomfiture. So the tides of war, they've shifted. After Jonathan has this victory, he climbs up with his armor-bearer, they slay people, and now the whole army is melting away. So it's going good. It's going good. Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they also turned to be with the Israelites that were with Saul and Jonathan. Likewise all the men of Israel, which had hid themselves in Mount Ephraim, when they heard that the Philistines fled, even they also followed hard after them in the battle. So the Lord saved Israel that day. And the battle passed over unto Bethaven, and the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, Cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on mine enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. So that's interesting, right? Victory. They're having a moment of victory, but Saul had just disobeyed. Saul had just disobeyed. So we see the effect. He's bitten, right? The poison, the venom is creeping in. It has gotten to his mind, his brain. He's not walking by faith. He made a decision that was not by faith. And so now he's thinking, he's making decisions. He's eating away at his own strength, the strength of the army. He's telling them, don't eat. Right? Why? It sounds so devout. It sounds, yeah, we have this interest, we have this goal. We're so focused, we're not going to eat. We're going to have this victory. Saul didn't have to tell them that. He could let them eat, be free. No, but you're going to make some restrictions, laws that are unnecessary. Right? So we need faith to know. So without faith, this is what we do. Religious stuff, religious practices, right? Just, oh, you know what? In this part of the Bible, it says, so we should do this, right? 40 days, that's awesome. Let's fast for 40 days. But God didn't tell you to. Are you sure? Is that what you should do? Right? Maybe there's something at level 1 obedience. Maybe you're at level 1, and that's a high thing. Like Moses did that. Jesus did that, and you want to just plunge, yeah, because you have this awesome view of yourself. I want to be a super Christian, but what about step 1 and step 2? No, 40 days we're gonna fast. I'm ready. Wait, but you haven't even. Hold up. Oh, that's all right. We already locked the door. We're shut in. We're not gonna move until we're done with this, and they're gonna find some dead bodies. Like, oh man, you're gonna be on the news. You bring shame. Yeah, because you're not one that obeys. You need to obey, right? So Saul here, he disobeys, and look, this is happening to him. He's having this kind of mind, right? Cursed be the man that eats any food until evening. And we're gonna see who does get cursed by this pronouncement of the curse, right? Well, it's gonna be his son Jonathan, and he almost gets cursed. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a measure of it that did pass on him. But we do see in the record that the people saved him, right? And so that's even worse for Saul. Man, you got the whole army that is just going to dismiss your word right after you said it. Oh, that's your decision, king? No, that's not going to happen. Wait, but guys, I'm king. I led you guys to victory, and I'm leading you in this victory right now. And they say, no. They obey here, right? Cursed be anyone that eats food, and they agree. They try it, but it's so grievous, it's so burdensome. We see now what happens, right? So the next thing Saul says, right, when there's an opportunity to disagree, when it's just too much, say no, right? Not you're gonna kill Jonathan too? No, that's enough. That's enough. Not that. Right? That's not going to happen. They did not let the king make and execute his decision. No. We see the bad effects of what you're commanding, of your decisions. So, that's not good. That's not what a king's supposed to do and see and witness. You're supposed to have a good rule. You're supposed to have people obey you. You're supposed to have decisions, prosper your nation. But now we see Saul losing, right, the trust of his people, losing authority and influence, losing his mind, losing wisdom, right? Cursed be anyone that eats. And so he's making them tired, unnecessarily, right? Did God say that? No, Saul thinks it's a great idea, and it's a bad idea. And so there's a discrepancy in what's right and prosperous, and you're making decisions, and you're saying things that's the opposite. Burdensome, grievous, not prosperous, not helping. Right? So it's supposed to have evidence. It's supposed to have a good effect. You can't say, no, it was still good. No, because there's evidently no good. It gets worse. People jump on these animals and start eating it with the blood. So that's what it's causing. And you could say, how could I know? I can't predict that. But with God, that is expected. Because if you're connected to God, then you're there's going to be a measure of the prophetic on you, right? So that's knowing the future, that's knowing the truth, that's speaking according to, as an oracle of God. That's what God says, because God knows the future. God knows what will be good. There's no guessing with God. And so you're going to reflect that if you're in the will of God, if you're connected with God, if you're obedient, right? You're going to remain that. You're going to continue in that. Like David's prophet, right? Nathan, or even Samuel here, who doesn't let any of God's words drop to the floor. He's faithful with what's released from heaven, with what God says. We take it and we obey. Right? Saul, he let it drop. Even during his ordination, his when he was announced as king, he's not in full agreement. He's got some fear. And when he's king, he's so jealous that other people are better than him. He kind of wants to be king now, but in the beginning he was hiding. He doesn't want to be king. Right? A lot of instability. And that's because he came from a request from the people out of unbelief, out of doubt, out of a rejection from God. And so what they get is going to be a product of that. Right? So when the Israelites asked for quail, it's a product of that. Right? Rebellion, right? Bitterness, death. They're speaking death. If you don't speak from God, if you don't agree with God, what comes out is death. You're asking for death. And so they get quails, but they eat it and die. Right? Oh, you think you want quails. You think you want good tasting food. You think you want it, but you don't know what you want. That's not what you want. You want to agree with God. Life is in God, not in meat, not in quails, not in melons and garlic and cucumbers. I know it tastes good, and I know that used to give you life. I know it seems like that is, but it's what God says it is. If God, you ate cucumbers before, they were delicious, they were nourishing, and it gave you life. But God can make that same cucumber give you death. Oh, now it's going to kill you. It's what God says it is. So we seek God in his heart, what pleases him, because that's what prospers, right? Money can give you life, or it can give you death. You win the lottery and it can kill you. You get a lot of money and you could use it well and productively. You could be Solomon, who uses it well and builds up the nation. Or you could be like, who was it? Maybe, was it Asa or Jehoshaphat? One of the kings that, I think it was, they paid off a king. I think it was the king of Syria. And it expressed unbelief. Right? So, they had victory from God. God gave them victory in war. And when the second opportunity comes to have a big war, instead of going back to God, they go to a king. They pay off a king. Right? So, you had money, but you used it wrong. That's not how you use your money. Right? How do you know? Right? This money, right? It's supposed to be good. But if you don't know God's expectations, then you're going to make wrong decisions with it. And then you'll have the bad outcomes. So, here we see Saul just grieving the people, grieving his army, making it more burdensome. They have enough, right? They should focus on the enemy, kill the enemy. And Saul says, hey, how about we add another law, right? Don't eat. We didn't need that. And so it continues, verse 25. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were come into the wood, behold, the honey dropped, but no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in an honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Then answered one of the people and said, your father straitly charged the people with an oath, saying, cursed be the man that eats any food this day. And the people were faint. Then said Jonathan, my father has troubled the land. See, I pray you, how mine eyes have been enlightened, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more if haply the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies which they found? For had there not been now a much greater slaughter among the Philistines? Right? So Jonathan saying, oh man, we could have had a bigger slaughter. We could have had more victory, more people that we killed today. But we're so faint that it's hard. And they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Aijalon, and the people were very faint. Right? Again, it's going to say they were so faint. Yeah, let's mention it again. Very faint. First faint, now very faint. And the people flew upon the spoil, right? They just threw out all reason. We know we're not supposed to, but we don't care anymore, right? This is the decision that Saul made. And Saul's decision led them to this, the whole nation, right? Flying on the spoil, took sheep and oxen and calves and slew them on the ground, and the people did eat them with the blood. Right? Oh man, they're all sinning. You're not supposed to do that, but they're all doing it. So they're trying to keep the oath. They're trying to obey the king, but it leads to disobedience to God. Right? Horrible, really bad. Then they told Saul, saying, Behold, the people sin against the Lord, in that they eat with the blood. And he said, Ye have transgressed. Roll a great stone unto me this day. And Saul said, Disperse yourselves among the people, and say unto them, Bring me hither every man his ox, and every man his sheep, and slay them here, and eat, and sin not against the Lord in eating with the blood. And all the people brought every man his ox with him that night, and slew them there. And Saul built an altar unto the Lord. The same was the first altar that he built unto the Lord. And Saul said, Let us go down after the Philistines by night, and spoil them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them. And they said, Do whatever seems good unto you. Then said the priest, Let us draw near hither to God. And Saul asked counsel of God, Shall I go down after the Philistines? Will you deliver them into the hand of Israel? But he answered him not that day. And Saul said, Draw ye near hither all the chief of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the Lord lives, which saves Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die. Right? So he's saying that it's not going to come to pass. And though he says that, it sounds so serious, right? Oh yeah, I'm so serious. Even my son, if it's him, he'll die. And he intends to, but it's just not going to happen. It's not. He doesn't know the future. He doesn't know. Right? He says, oh, surely, he will surely die. But he's not. Right? So, confusion, right? Darkness. But there was not a man among all the people that answered him. Right? They know. They're not saying anything. Then said he unto all Israel, Be on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, Do what seemeth good unto thee. Therefore Saul said unto the Lord God of Israel, Give a perfect lot. And Saul and Jonathan were taken, but the people escaped. And Saul said, Cast lots between me and Jonathan my son. And Jonathan was taken. So it was found out, God is revealing, it's Jonathan. Then Saul said to Jonathan, Tell me what you have done. And Jonathan told him and said, I did but taste a little honey with the end of the rod that was in mine hand, and lo, I must die. Right? So Jonathan, he's willing. He said, okay, if you have to. But the people are going to save him. And Saul answered, God, do so, and more also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan. And the people said unto Saul, Shall Jonathan die, who hath wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid, as the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground. Who said that, right? The king said, no, he'll die. And someone, or the whole group, right, says, what? No. He said no to the king now, for he hath wrought with God this day. So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not. Then Saul went up from following the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. So Saul took the kingdom over Israel and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom and against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines. And whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed them. And he gathered an host and smote the Amalekites and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. So awesome, right? Wow, Saul, he's strong. He has might. He can command his army. He can have victory. But we know the end of Saul, right? So sad. Wow, just so much strength. And he's gifted. He can do all this. And yet we know he's going to die by suicide. He's going to die by suicide. That's the end of Saul, although he's doing all these achievements. So we don't want to live that life. We don't want to disobey, right? We don't want to have wow, achievements, victory, wow, medals and ribbons, and then have an end like that where we kill ourselves? What happened? Disobedience, right? We can trace it. We can connect the cause and effect. Oh, it started here. Oh, look, this is a decline when he disobeyed God, when he didn't keep the command of God in mind and execute it with his hands, and he forced himself to do something else. And now he's going to have achievements, but he's going to start to decline in his mind and his decision and his influence. And he gathered an host and smote the Amalekites and delivered Israel out of the hands of them that spoiled them. Now the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Ishui and Melchishua, and the names of his 2 daughters were these: the name of the firstborn Merab, and the name of the younger Michal. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz, and the name of the captain of his host was Abner, the son of Ner, Saul's uncle. And Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. And there was sore war against the Philistines all the days of Saul. And when Saul saw any strong man or any valiant man, he took him unto him. Samuel also said unto Saul, The Lord sent me to anoint you to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For you show kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. So he's waging war. He's on a campaign now, but he spares these people. He's saying, get out. We're not going to kill you because you were good to Israel. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until you come to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep and the oxen, the fatlings and the lambs, and all that was good, but would not utterly destroy them. But everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly. Then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying, It repents me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he has turned back from following me, and hath not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. Right? Why? Right? Saul won. What's the big deal? Saul won. And so we could think like that, right? I fasted. I went to church. I listened to the preacher. What do you want me to do? What else? I did it. But we're supposed to obey. God wants more than just you to do things. You went there and God told you to go there. But what else, right? Did God say something else? So Saul, he's in trouble because he didn't kill Agag. But he was supposed to. So it doesn't matter if you win the war, because God had instructions. It wasn't just win the war. What was God's instruction, right? To man, it seems glorious. Great, you won the war. That's fine. That's good enough. I mean, if you saved Agag, whatever, right? Do what you want with him. That's not what God said, though. Right? God had a specific command. Why? Because you see, he has purposes, right? So he missed the mark, and that's sin. He let the Kenites go. He understood that, right? But he's supposed to not let Agag go. So you have to do all the will of God, and he's doing what he knows and what he feels. No, but you have to. So what's going on? Is he not esteeming the word of the Lord? He doesn't take it seriously enough. He doesn't believe. There's some disrespect here. There's some dismissing, some forgetting, and it's showing in his actions. He's not completing. Your obedience has to be fulfilled. You need fullness of obedience if you want fullness of joy. If you want to God to fill you abundantly, for the overflow, you need to obey like that. Right? So we see that because he disobeyed, his life is going to get even worse. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord your God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell you what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. Right? It's not good. It's not good. Because he's supposed to kill the sheep and the oxen, but Samuel hears it. Right? So he's saying, What do you mean you obeyed? You're coming to me saying, I obeyed. Let me tell you what God said. And Samuel said, When you were little in your own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed you king over Israel. And the Lord sent you on a journey and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then did you not obey the voice of the Lord, but did fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. Right? So either Saul's not hearing, or he is trying to defend himself, but this is the second time he's saying, I obeyed. So, yeah, he's having trouble being redirected, hearing, humbling himself. The Lord is saying, why didn't you obey? And instead of hearing that and apologizing, he's saying, no, I did. Let me tell you what I did. God already knows what you did. That's why God is upset. And he's saying, no, you must not know. You must not have heard me. No, let me explain. So there's some delay here that's fatal. Not because the delay here is what caused the curse for Saul, but his way, how he thinks, how he hears. But the people took the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord your God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. So that's what echoes throughout the Bible, throughout time to today. You're going to hear that. You should be hearing that in church. Because that attacks and directly addresses what's in our hearts and our tendency and our behavior to try to sacrifice without obedience. And that's ever since Cain. And so, take heed today. That's all the time we have for now. But, to obey is better than sacrifice. Obey. Right? There is sacrifice. You must sacrifice. But don't be fooled. Don't be deceived in thinking you can do that will be acceptable without obedience. You need to obey and sacrifice. Both. Do both. So if you leave any one of those out, beware, right? So this is why we read the scriptures and recall the stories and look, right, at the examples that God is giving us. Is for doctrine, instruction. Is good for us to review, to remember, to meditate on this, because we see ourselves in it, in our tendencies. It helps us, right? Because then we can recognize, I'm doing this. My brother and sister, what am I seeing, right? What does God expect? What does God like? And we can adjust and reform accordingly unto not what we think is right, because that doesn't matter. What God thinks is right? According to his pleasure, the light of his countenance. That's our help. That's our joy. Our strength comes from that. The joy of the Lord, right? As long as he's pleased, then you'll see things in order. Then you'll see joy, good success, good outcomes. So, we're going to take heed to what matters. Not what I think matters, what God says matters. Obedience and sacrifice, both. Jesus' name.